I was living in Springfield, Oregon at the time and had just started my freshman year in high school. I was placed in an advanced math class my freshman year. So I was in class with a lot of older students, juniors, seniors, and it was in that math class where I met my rapist. He wanted to have some type of sexual relationship with me, but I was very clear with him on the phone that I was saving myself for marriage. There was one day at school, he asked me to meet him during class. You know, naturally my instinct was, no, I can't. And he's like, well, just meet me. I asked to go to the bathroom or something, and I went and met him. He pulled me into a private practice room at the school, but he was just being very aggressive and insistent, and I started saying no at that point, but I didn't really know what was happening, or I was just scared. He forced me to lay on the ground, and I guess in my mind I escaped, or I kind of, blacked out. He just told me to shut up and that I better not say anything to anyone, called me a bad word, and got up and left the room. And I remember going to the bathroom. I remember seeing blood on my underwear, and then I just went back to class. From then on, it would cause a really deep, gaping wound in my spirit. I had, during that time, tried to speak to him once, I remember, at school in the hallway, and it was like he looked right through me, like I didn't even exist. I talked to my best friend at the time and told her what happened, and my best friend insisted that we go to Planned Parenthood. They explained my option of abortion. They just told me all I needed was like $300, and I didn't need my parents' permission. I just needed to make an appointment. I'd gone to the nurse's office to be excused from school. Ultimately, I ended up cracking and telling her that I was pregnant. The school nurse asked me if I thought that my parents would want to know that I was about to do this. And I said, yeah. And she asked me if I thought that if I told my mom that she would want to help me and be understanding. And I said, yeah. So she convinced me to let her call my mom. We were kind of afraid to tell my dad because we weren't sure what his reaction would be.
I might have made it look like I was angry at Crystal, but I was really scared for Crystal. I never felt anger like that.
My father was pretty adamant that the baby would not come home. I had a desire to keep my baby, and I expressed that, but I had no way of making it work.
I know pregnancy is no easy walk for any woman. How's a 14-year-old gonna walk that walk? Mostly
to appease my dad, I agreed to do the abortion a second time, and we made an appointment. On our way to the appointment, I was in the back seat and my parents were in the front. My dad was driving, and I knew then that I didn't want to do it. I sat in the back seat just talking to God, really, and just heard God say to me to take his hand, to trust him, and that her blood was innocent. So I chose to trust God in that moment. And I told my dad to stop the car. And I told my parents that I didn't know what I was going to do, but that I would be having this baby. I took some time to explore my options with a pregnancy counselor that actually worked for an adoption agency. Adoption sounded like the best option for me as long as I could still have a relationship with her and be able to tell my daughter that I love her. So I chose an open adoption, and the adoption agency had a pool of adoptive parents to choose from. So I literally was flipping through a book of all these excited parents that, wannabe parents that were ready to take home a child. I got a call from my counselor saying that a new adoptive couple had just re-entered the pool. They had a first that they'd adopted a little boy who was 3, and they were hoping for a girl to complete their family. So I was having a girl. And they seemed really sweet. So it was kind of like we courted a little bit, we sort of dated a little. We went to hang out, we went to eat, I stayed at their house, and even my daughter's adoptive mom and I went to the library, picked out baby name books, and one day we sat down and worked out what my daughter's name would be together. So that was pretty cool. She was 9 pounds, 1.5 ounces, and a head full of jet black hair and eyes like ebony. And we spent 2.5 days in the hospital together. I remember one time being in the hospital room, and it was just me and my dad in the room with the baby, and I needed to use the bathroom. And so I insisted that he hold her, and he didn't want to, but
I tried to be cool, Mr. Tough Guy. You'd be surprised how fast that melts away. It was a beautiful baby.
And when I came out of the bathroom, he was there feeding her the bottle. I'll never forget that moment.